Hi. As you may or may not know, I work at AAA. I talk all day to people about the directions that they need in their car. Sometimes walking directions. Sometimes I just look things up on the internet for them because they're our members and it's what we do. I generally meet really cool people. I'm very lucky. Today I met two people who broke my heart. I met the first woman who was obviously not born here, and she needed to know how to get to New York City. She didn't know what train to take out of New Haven. Stuff I've done. I was helping her out. She was really friendly. We were talking all about like NPR and things she had heard on NPR, and she needed directions to a place on Fifth Avenue in New York City. So when I mapped it, the address that she gave me was a consulate. And it was obvious it was her home consulate. Her English was impeccable. She still had an accent, but it was obvious that she'd been here for a while. And she had made some comments, political comments. So I jokingly said, "Oh, are you getting out of Dodge because of the current political climate?" Thinking she was going back home. And she said, "You know, I've been here for 40 years. She said, "I've been a citizen for 31. And it's the first time that I've been terrified to go get my groceries. And I'm getting my dual citizenship because I feel like I'm going to need it sooner than later." She didn't strike me as someone who overreacts. She seemed very matter of fact, very salt of the earth, down to earth. She's in her 60s. She's lived. And I took that in for, a few seconds. And I just said, if my apology could do anything, I would apologize, but I'm just as aghast as you are at how people are behaving. And she shook her head and she said, "People like you are why I stay." So she's getting her dual citizenship because she's afraid of her future here in this country. So not 20 minutes later, I had another woman sit down at my desk needing to get her passport renewed. And so we were working on getting her pictures, and I was printing out some forms for her. And I asked, "Where are you from?" Because she had a very heavy accent. And she said, "Oh, I'm from the Czech Republic." She then told me about how she, her husband, and two children escaped before Václav Havel and the Velvet Revolution, when it was a terrifying place to be. And I said, "Oh my gosh, that must have been terrifying. I so respect you for just leaving your home for someplace else." And she said, "Yes, thankfully, America hadn't closed its doors and hearts to people in need." And then she said, "Unlike now." Now, if these women had talked before they came in, they couldn't have planned this better. Because they're right. People who are of color, of any color, other than pasty pale white, are being glared at, whispered about, followed in stores. And it's not new, but it's increased. And people who came here as refugees 30 years ago still love the country that welcomed them in. Neither of these women are women that are on assistance. They're both affluent women. They're learned women. They were obviously people of means. They're not your rapists. They're not your drug dealers. They're not your murderers. These are good people. These are people we need in this fucking hellhole of a country that we're living in right now. The writing is on the wall. I don't know what to do. But these two women today came in and sat at my desk, and they were not preachy. They were not trying to change my view or anything, and I was just my friendly self. People tend to open up to me. It's just what happens. And I am ashamed. Shame on you, Washington. And shame on us for allowing Washington to become what it has become. Call me a snowflake, a libtard, whatever you want to call me, fine. I own it. I'm a democratic socialist since I was 18. I admit it. I think everyone should have a chance, an equal chance in the world, not just this country. I am so ashamed. So ashamed.